Hello guys, and welcome to another discussion video. And today, I kind of wanted to talk about some DLC for games, because as you might know recently, there actually has been a lot of DLC for actually some older games lately. Not really like that old, but just a couple years, like Animal Crossing New Horizons, and even Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which released all the way back in 2017. So, I feel like the possibilities are very broad for DLC for games on the Nintendo Switch, and I feel like there are definitely some games that could have like the opportunity for DLC, and that would definitely benefit from DLC also, even though not all of these really need more content. So, with a Nintendo Direct possibly on the horizon, I just wanted to go through these ideas, because I know every once in a while Nintendo might reveal like a new DLC pack for a game. And let's go ahead and kind of look into some of my ideas here. So my first idea is for Paper Mario the Origami King. And as a lot of you might know, it's a pretty divisive game. There's just like a lot of controversial discussions surrounding it, and my view on it, I consider myself a classic Paper Mario fan. I kind of like the older games in the series, but I did like Origami King. Like, it did have a lot of flaws that I'll definitely kind of address, like with some of the things in the DLC that I'll mention, but I liked it, and it definitely had a lot of potential. And basically, for the DLC, my idea is like another story to add on to it, and it basically actually kind of fixes that some of the original game kind of like some of the problems that the original game had, but it's still like a smaller kind of story thing, kind of intertwining with the main story. And my idea is that it follows Luigi while he searches for the keys, or searches for the key to Peach's castle, and finds those other keys too. So basically, during this, he'll actually obtain like older partners that he had during the Thousand Year Door, and even though that's really unlikely, I think that would be like a really cool kind of idea to kind of like actually bring back characters from that game, and it would definitely be really good fan service. And my other idea that kind of connects to the theme of fan service is kind of go through older locations in the Paper Mario series, primarily like from Paper Mario 64, as it makes the most sense. It's Origami King and 64 kind of take place in the same general canonical location in the Mario universe, like with the Mushroom Kingdom, because not all Paper Mario games take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. So I guess most locations would kind of center around Paper Mario 64 and would have bosses like Tubba Blubba, other bosses like that, and it would be really cool to kind of bring that back, but kind of have the origami theme behind it too, and kind of remix it like that. I think that would be really cool. And then at the end, my idea is basically that scrapped factory level that was originally planned to be in Origami King, and basically that's where all the origami enemies are made, and then that's when you face off against Origami Peach and then get the key and everything. So I think that would be really cool. That's basically my idea for DLC in that game. Obviously it's not necessary since the game has a lot of content, but I think it would be really cool if like the DLC actually kind of brought back a lot of the things that fans wanted, like original characters, and then maybe even like some differences in the gameplay, like you could possibly control the partners. I'm not sure if EXP or star points would be possible, but I do see like some minor changes in the battle system if they're gonna improve it. So that's my idea for Origami King. So the next game that I have kind of ideas for DLC for is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And like Origami King, it already has a lot of content, but I think the DLC would still benefit it, and it would still be good for the game and everything, and it would still kind of add on to what the game already has. So my idea is kind of a Meta Nightmare mode, and you play as Meta Knight, and it basically takes place when he enters the Forgotten Land, and he has to make his way to where Waddle Dee Town is, and then defend Waddle Dee Town from Gorimondo, because in the story of the game, it's mentioned that Meta Knight fights Gorimondo 30 times from attacking Waddle Dee Town. Well, I find it unlikely that they're gonna have 30 Gorimondo fights. They might do something like revolving around that, like with Waddle Dee Town defending it and Gorimondo. Obviously, there would have to be like a few like unique levels thrown in, but I think that would be like a really cool kind of extra DLC mode. I don't have too much on Kirby and the Forgotten Land, so that's basically kind of my idea for that game. So the next idea I have, I did mention it in another video, but like with boards specifically, and this is Mario Party Superstars. I really liked Superstars. It's actually one of my favorite Mario Party games, but my only problem with it, aside from like some of the character changes in Mushroom Village, is like the lack of boards. I feel like there could have definitely been more boards in the game, and there could have been more characters as well. Like, aside from that, I feel like the content in the game is pretty good, but I definitely feel like it could have more, and I do feel like DLC would be alright, because it would be nice to get those in a free update, but the game already does seem like it's worth $60 from the amount of content that it has. So I think it would be nice if there was like a kind of like a DLC thing for this game, being like different boards. And I think like maybe 2 or 3 GameCube boards, new characters like Pauline, Dry Bones, Boo, Shy Guy, or even Koopa Kid, even though that's unlikely, would be really cool. The reason I say Koopa Kid as one of the character editions is because Mario Party Superstars is kind of like a throwback to the older Mario Party games, and it would be nice to get like more references and more kind of like callbacks to the older Mario Party games. And Koopa Kid was actually playable in some of the GameCube Mario Party games, so that kind of ties into my theme of like the 3 GameCube boards and everything. That's why I also included like Dry Bones and Boo as a couple of the characters included, because those were introduced during the GameCube Mario Party games. So that's kind of my idea for Mario Party Superstars. That game is really good, and I really enjoy the content that it does have, but I do feel like it would benefit from like more boards and more characters, and even some new mini games too. So the final game that I have here is not too different from Mario Party Superstars overall, even though like it's a different series and everything. Still kind of like that party game, kind of quick mini game kind of thing. That is WarioWare Get It Together. I'm kind of surprised that this game didn't get the free updates and everything, even though I do feel like the content was pretty good for this game. Like, it had about as much content as like most of the other WarioWare games, aside from Gold, because Gold is like a mega collection kind of, and it would take a lot for a new game to kind of live up to the amount of content in Gold. But for what there was in Get It Together, it was definitely on par with most of the other games in the series, and it was really good. So, the first thing, I wanted to include this here, even though it's not really a part of the DLC. I want to see like an online mode kind of released alongside whatever DLC this game gets, if it gets DLC. I think that would be cool. Since they have the new servers now and everything, I think it would be nice if they like implemented that and everything, because it does work in like other fast-paced games and different things. So if they get it to work, I think an online mode would be really cool, and that would definitely like bring a lot of life into this game. And the DLC idea I have is based on Waluigi, who's never appeared in the series before. And aside from like a few cameos and different things, but basically my idea is Waluigi's breakout hit, which would be like a new story mode themed around Waluigi, and I think it would be like either something like Waluigi developing a game like with Wario, or competing with Wario, or something like that. I think that would be really cool, and there could be like a bunch of new micro games. I would say probably like maybe like 50 new micro games would probably be about like a reasonable amount for like DLC. And there would also be like new playable characters too, which would be really cool. Like obviously Waluigi, and I even think like other Wario characters too, like Captain Syrup would be really cool. And even a more obscure character from Mario and Wario, Wanda, would be really cool. I know that's like a deep cut there, but the WarioWare series has always had like some really obscure references, so I think that would be really cool if they brought that character back. And also Joe, who is another character from the WarioWare series, that would be nice to see him in too. And kind of understandable that he wasn't a playable character there, because he's more of like a side character, but it would be nice to see him playable in DLC. Maybe they could kind of create a unique moveset based on him. Like he could maybe like maybe throw different things, like, because he was like a manager in some of the games, so maybe he'd like throw different things that he's like sold at like the different during the micro games and everything. So I think that would be cool. So overall, those are kind of my ideas for DLC in kind of relatively recent Nintendo Switch games. I definitely feel like there could be DLC for at least one of these games, like especially like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, or maybe even Mario Party Superstars. But I'm not sure. Nintendo usually does this seem to be really random, and they might even choose a game that I didn't even mention. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.